Hey guys, this is Mandy from Rose Gold Careers, and I'm going to be talking to you today about something I've been observing a lot that my clients have been experiencing, and that is the phenomenon that I like to call ghosting. So, when you are applying for a position, you've interviewed, you're in the process, this can happen in a lot of different ways. So let's say you meet someone in person at a conference, they're a recruiter, you're seeking a job, and you have a great conversation with them. And then you go to follow up, you compose the email, you do it in a timely manner. You are showing up, right? And you go and you send this email and there's no response. And you're like, they were just at the conference, like maybe let's give it a couple days. You wait 3 to 4 days, and then you follow up again gently, and again, silence, okay? Or let's say you've gotten to the interview stage, and you've shown up, you've come to the interview on time, you're probably even early, you look great, you've rehearsed, you know about the company, you do everything that you're supposed to do, okay? You have a great interview. You might even have a series of interviews, like 3 to 4 back-to-back interviews where you're sitting in this tiny conference room waiting for the next person to come in and sort of prepping yourself to be like, okay, let's keep it high energy. You go through this whole process, you are exhausted, but you're also kind of excited about the prospect of working for this company. Go home, you send your requisite thank you emails, and then silence, okay? The person, either the hiring manager or the HR person or whoever you were in contact with, has simply ghosted, okay? Now, what are you supposed to do in this situation? Well, I'll tell you what most people do, and that is they are supremely patient, and they tell themselves, okay, I wrote them 5 days ago, so should I follow up again in a week? And they come up with this whole timeline of where they portray themselves as this patient, all good, all knowing kind of candidate. I will just zen this out. I will wait, and I will be patient, and I will show them how courteous I am. And the question that I get as a career coach is, okay, so I emailed them on Tuesday, when should I follow up? And I haven't heard anything yet, and I met them here, I did this interview there. When I was at this company, they were really responsive, and then when I left, they just stopped replying to my emails. Okay. That is one method, and I will tell you that it doesn't work. Why? Because you are essentially giving that person all the power. And I'll tell you in my own experience of running my business, I fell into this same freaking trap, okay? So the first couple weeks, I did a ton of free consultations. And there were some people where I'm sure they just wanted to talk to someone, or maybe they were very early in their process and they just, for whatever reason, okay, we had a free consultation. And then I would diligently follow up and say, okay, well, it was great talking to you, and here's the link that I promised, and whatever, right? And then there'd be silence. And I'd be like, I haven't heard from that person in a while. Wonder what's going on. I'll just follow up, right? And then you find yourself by the third follow-up email kind of just feeling shitty. I know this person doesn't really want to work with me, or I know this person just hasn't responded, but let me try again. Okay, my new method, and I'll tell you very honestly, is I don't follow up. If I don't hear back from you after one email, I hear you loud and clear. I hear your silence loud and clear. I got it. We're cool. I am not going to follow up. Okay? Because that person has your contact information. They know how to reach you. And in a desperate moment where they're drowning and the only person who can save them and deliver a life raft is your email address, they will figure out how to get in contact with you. Don't worry, And I think like, now I'm like, am I being too angry and defensive? But like, no, because this is honestly what we go through as candidates, right? Like this is the emotional state where you're like, I don't want to be pushy. I don't want to be crazy, but I know I can do this job and I just need a chance. Like that's what is going on in our minds, you know? So forgive me if I'm emotional about it, but it is an emotional experience. Now, I'm going to take you guys back for a minute. I'm going to talk about, the idea of rejection and how we handle rejection. And I say take you back because I'm thinking back to like my 14-year-old self, which was not the polished and amazing post-gym picture vision of awesomeness that you see in front of you today, but was a gawky, zitty, like not proportionate, strange, slightly chubby middle schooler, right? And oh my God, was I boy crazy. Like obsessed with boys it didn't make any sense, but I was like obsessed with boys. And all I wanted was for boys to like me. But of course, all boys wanted was not to like me. I was ahead of my time, okay? I was a late bloomer. I still haven't hit my peak. And they just were like, they did not get it, okay? And so when people ask me like, oh, like I haven't heard anything, or like I wrote to them and they sent me a lukewarm response, I think back to 14-year-old Mandy when it's like you're at the school dance and the boy that you like is kind of just not into you, but you keep being like, maybe I'll just stand over here and like flirt a little bit, or like maybe if I do a dance off over there, then he'll see me out of the corner of his eye and be like, that bitch is awesome, right? Like you have all these ideas of like things you can do to get the attention of someone who like clearly does not want to like watch your dance off and be impressed, right? You're like, maybe if I just wait until Stairway to Heaven comes on, then I can just like awkwardly bump into him and be like, oh, do you want to dance? Like, And it's like, if I could talk to 14-year-old Mandy, I would say, girl, he's not into it, and you can tell because he's ignoring you, okay? That is how I feel for my dear friends and clients who are going through this today, like 20 freaking years later. It's the same stuff. It's the same weirdo cold treatment that we innocent little middle schoolers used to get when we were like rejected, but being silently rejected. And that, I think, is the most confusing part, is that you are being rejected, like you are, through the silence, but it's an unclear rejection, right? They're not coming out and saying, oh, thank you so much for taking the time to interview with us. We actually decided to go with an internal candidate, but we wish you the best of luck, right? They're not saying that. They're just saying nothing. And so you make reasons. You're like, well, it was just Martin Luther King Day, and then the Thanksgiving and Christmas came up, and well, it's Fashion Week, and like all these reasons, which are not reasons. Because if someone really, really, really wants to hire you, they will move mountains to do so. They will email you. They will blow up your phone. They will do whatever it takes. They will Twitter DM you in order to get in touch. Okay? So, my dear friends, what I want to say is what I would say to 14-year-old nerdy zitty Mandy, which is, my dear, if someone is ghosting you, if they are ignoring you, if they are giving you the silent treatment, move on. Okay? Bigger and better fish in the sea. You have to emotionally move on. You cannot pine for this company or this person who gave you a little bit of affection and is now ghosting. Okay? There are 100 different ways to get in. Maybe you have a friend that you went to school with who works at that organization. Maybe you have an ex-colleague who's now consulting for them. Maybe you can call up someone who went to the same school that you did to get an introduction into the company. Okay, this is not the only way. This is not the only department. This is not the only gatekeeper. Okay? If you really, really, really want it, you can find a way in. But in the meantime, if someone's ghosting you, you ghost them right back. Yep, that's the way. They ghost you, you ghost them back. You don't follow up. You don't crawl. You don't be like, oh, please talk to me. No. You just, in your spreadsheet where you're keeping track of who you're talking to, just do the strike through. Just select all, do the strike through, and be like, bye. Okay, see you later. I'm moving on. All right, friends, that is the post/rant for today. Hope to see you guys soon. Okay, bye.